What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to another episode of JD Plays Dungeons, Dragons, and Space Shuttles, the Expert Mode mod pack. And last time we started bees. My little homie to my, I guess he's to my left. Today we're going to continue on with bees. We're going to look at some other stuff. I hope you guys are enjoying the series so far. As always, if you are enjoying it, hit that like button. If you'd like to see more like it, click the subscribe button, bell icon for notifications, and remember that I do live stream all of this content on Twitch TV/JDon77. That being said, and my spiel over with, let's get to work on what I want to do today. So, I've got some screenshots to show you, and I've gone ahead and I've made a couple of things. I've increased the overall size of our bee project footprint. I've made a smoker. Now, this is really easy. You just need some flint, some leather, and some tin to make a smoker. What this does is this allows you to harvest wild bees by simply holding down right-click. You'll smoke the hive out, and they'll get real calm. What do you think's going on there? Then you can break it open without taking damage from the bees, okay? So the first thing that I would like to actually show, I'm going to turn a different display on for just a second. And I have a screenshot of proof that I did not cheat, but that I raised and I'm just going to show this in photo viewer. So right here, this is how we got our first common princess. And I'm just showing that we bred that from scratch from a forest bee. Actually, it was a meadow with a forest. And we got our first cultivated princess and drone. Okay, so I did those by hand. And I've actually gone a little further than that. I just wanted to show that we did those by hand so that, you know, people thinking I cheated stuff in, right? So here's our forest. There's our meadow. Here is our commons. Here's our attuned. Here is our mysticals. We're still working on getting the unusuals worked out. Here are the cultivated. I'm still working on getting the sorceress worked out, but I think I've just about got sorceress working now. We'll see. I do have some rocks going out here, some rocky ones. These are creating combs and slowly doing their thing. We'll need to breed in a higher level of, what's the word I'm looking for here, offspring, to really start seeing growth in our rockies. And here is where I am working on a cultivated. Okay, so with cultivated, we haven't gotten a pure breed line yet. We're working on it. Diligent 2X. That's good. That's what I want. Diligent 2X. What's the difference? Well, this is the better pollinator, but we don't really care about pollination. So what we would want to check next is which is the better in terms of these stats. They're exactly the same. So it doesn't really matter other than from a pollination standpoint. This is the better one for pollination. So we'll just put this one back in there and let them breed again. And hopefully we'll get a stable line of those soon. I do finally have the inventory system somewhat working. It's not working the way it did for me last time, so I've got to continue to work with this. But we're up to 336 honeycombs, 115 mundane combs. We are producing some, what are these called again? Stringy combs. These are coming from the cultivated. I have made a few unweary and ancient and a couple of noble drones floating around here somewhere. And we've been doing a lot of work using these chocolate frames to cause the bees to die faster, giving us a faster turnover rate for getting these mutations that we want. We could use soul frames, but the advantage of chocolate frames is that they have a durability of 240, whereas soul frames only have a durability of 80, so they won't last quite as long. So we'll keep our eyes on this stuff, make sure everything's working right. Let's go ahead and take a look at how the XNet system is set up. So part of what I'm not liking about the setup right now, and I need to figure out why it's working this way, is exporting. So we'll look at let's look at the forest. Here's my forest bees, right? So I have it set to export the princesses and the forest drones based on their MBT because this should always match. And then I have them set to insert this with a priority of 2 because the higher the priority, the higher you are in an order of insertion. And once again, we're using their MBT matching data to insert them here. That's working great. What is not working is that when I get an overfill of drones in the breeding slots, inserting into the storage system using the same NBT data. Okay, so that part is not working out for me. And I've tried it both with and without. And if I do it without, it works. Okay, so like on the second export panel right here, I've now got this exporting honeycombs and exporting extra bees. but I've got it set to where it can only insert into the system with a priority of 0. Okay, so it should always attempt to insert back into the beehive first. That does not appear to always work. So I've got to continue to play with that a little bit. I'll get it perfected. I didn't have to do it this way in the past. I had a single export insertion with a spillover insertion going into storage system. And so I'm not sure why that's not working right now. I'll continue to play with that one and we'll get it working. I do have, like I said, some experimentation going on where I'm trying to get the diligent done. And that's the next bee we need in one of the breeding lines we're going to go down. Okay, so along with those guys, what else have I done? I've greatly increased how much cocoa I'm producing. Okay, so I'm producing a lot more cocoa now because we need those for the chocolate frames. I've also greatly increased the amount of seed oil bearing fruits that we have. So we've got a lot more walnut trees out here growing now. We've got additional chestnut trees growing. I think I planted a few new pecan trees. This one's not growing, this walnut sapling. There's a new pecan. I've got a few new cashew trees out here. And we've got a crazy amount of butterflies. Look at all these butterflies under my cherry trees. Okay, so I've got a bunch of cherry trees growing. We're going to harvest this for seed oil later. But because we have so many cherry trees out here, I've got butterflies going crazy, which would be used for doing tree breeding when we get ready to do that. So that's pretty cool. Lots of butterflies. I actually found some bird wing serum or something like that earlier. I think I put it in my storage system already. Yeah, we're well underway. Bees are happening. That's a good thing. Now with these hill cherries, you can see the color of the flowers and it tells you these are unripe cherries. These are unripe cherries. You don't want to harvest these before the cherries are ripe if you want to get the maximum amount of cherries to use for seed oil like we're going to. And each of these cherries only produces 50, but you get a boatload of them, okay? The cashews and the pecans and the walnuts and the chestnuts and all that stuff, they produce 150 each. They're a much better source of seed oil. The other thing that I've done for bees, hello slimes, is right across from me I have this nice jungle area. And that's great. So I went ahead and got some jungle bees, which are tropicals. And I set up a few apiaries over here. Now, these are not automated in any way. What in the world just happened? Oh, I'm getting stung by the bees. So these guys are not quite as nice, right? They're going to sting us. But what we want are these silky combs. These silky combs are important to me. And I need to get a bunch of these. And later we'll be able to set it up where they won't attack us. But for now, they're going to poison you. So be aware of this. And I'll come back and check on those in a minute. They'll only poison you while the hive is active. If the hive is done, you know, the queen's done doing her thing, you won't get poisoned anymore. You can walk up and interact with them. But what we're after from there is these silky combs. Why is the poison not expiring? Time. Right. So why do I care about silky combs? Well, let's take a look at a silky comb. We're going to hit U on it. If we put a silky comb in the centrifuge, we get 100% chance at a honey drop, which is great. We want honey drops. But we also get this silky propolis at 80% chance. This is what we're after from these silky combs. By using the silky propolis inside the centrifuge, we'll get these silky wisps. And there's a 60% chance of that. The silky wisp gets used to make the woven silk. If you have 9 of them, with some water, we can make a woven silk. And you use 8 of these. Oh, actually, yeah, sorry. 7 of these around your basic digging pack with a diamond, and you get a woven digging pack, which now has 45 slots of inventory storage. That's awesome, especially considering there's different types of packs for everything that we could possibly want from the forestry mod, right? That's one of my favorite storage devices. So I figure we'll go ahead and get some of those done, and that will allow us to get even more inventory space, because who doesn't want more inventory space? So I've got a little bit of silky propolis here. We'll go ahead and process this guy real quick. So let's talk about the different bee breeds. So obviously I showed you guys a common right here. Now, how would we get to a common? Well, it's pretty straightforward. Common is a combination of a, I'm sorry, I hit U instead of R. forest and meadows is probably the way most people will end up getting to common. Now, you can do forest and modest, but pay attention to what they need. Modest needs a hot, arid climate, so desert, savanna. You do forest and tropical, but tropicals need a warm, damp environment. Forests need normal, normal. Meadows need normal, normal. Any plains biome will work. You could do forest and wintry, but wintry, of course, need icy and normal. A marsh, which is normal and damp. You could also swap out the forest and go the meadows route. And really, you can go with any one of these combinations. Now, getting down into like the water and stuff, you're probably not... I mean, I guess you could start off with the water by going and harvesting some water hives. But long story short, there are a lot of ways to get commons. The easiest way, take a forest and a meadow, depending upon your biome, okay? All right, so now that we've got our common, how do we get to our diligent? Well, diligent is also pretty straightforward. We use the common, and we breed it with either a forest, a meadow, a modest, a tropical. Any one of the other bees we talked about a moment ago can be bred together to get a cultivated, okay? And cultivateds are great honeycomb producers, but we can take now our cultivated and our common, breed those together, and we can get a diligent. We have a chance of getting a noble, and if we take a noble and a cultivated, we can get a majestic. A diligent and a cultivated will get us an unweird. You can see how these bee lines just continue to kind of expand out. Now, some of these, and it shows you the chances of getting any one of these, right? Some of them have very special requirements. This breed pair can only occur within another biome. Okay, so you need to pay attention to that depending on what you're going for. Artistic, this is getting you into career bees. So there's a lot of different bees out there. So the question becomes, what are you after? Well, one of the things that I know I want to go after is going to be wax. It's going to be some of this magic wax. And this comes from magic bees because we can use this magic wax to make magic frames. It's cheap to make untreated frames. Magic frames give us great durability, great production. They're good frames. Okay, that's one thing that I would like to start making are these magic frames. So magic wax would be nice. All right, well, what's the easiest way for me to get to magic wax? Well, this comes from temporal combs, carbon, and earthy combs. And you can see along with this, depending on which comb, you're going to get some byproducts. Here's phase pollen, here's honeydew, there's carbon drops, clay. Mundane combs we're already producing, right? A lot of different bees produce this, and they have a 10% chance of giving us that. Okay, that's cool. What's something that will give me a bit more? Destabilized. Oh, look, destabilized drops. This sounds a lot like destabilized redstone, right? That's because it is destabilized redstone. So we can start producing resources with this. Ink sacs. The transmuting comb gives you beeswax and magic wax at a tick of 80%. Bucks. There's a lot of good combs. So this is what's going to allow us to start going after resources is based on what bee lines we breed up. Here is resonant ender from a particular type of comb. And to get the different types of combs, we're going to need different types of bees. This one would let us make bottles of enchanting. So this is, good experience from a memory hive. The occult is the best source, 100% drop rate, and it gives us honey drops. And to get the occult, we need esoteric, mysterious, arcane, ethereal, stabilized, or lux bees. Okay, now the lux bees look interesting, right? We know that they'll give us glowstone, occult combs, and other stuff. So which one of these do we want to breed? Well, let's say we wanted to go straight for, I don't know, we'll say arcane. Okay, how do I get to arcane? For arcane, I need esoteric and mysterious, and this has to happen between a waxing crescent and a waxing gibbous. This is a certain state of the moon. So for an esoteric, I need a cultivated, we've got those, and an eldritch. Okay, how do I get an eldritch? A mystical and a cultivated, a sorceress and a cultivated, unusual cultivated. There's plenty of ways to get an eldritch pretty easily. So this is actually a bee, an esoteric that we could go after pretty quick. What about a mysterious? Eldritch and esoteric. Okay, so that's kind of odd, but yeah, we've learned how to make those. So getting to the mysterious, that would allow us now to take the esoteric, the mysterious, breed them together, and get the arcane. So we can see lots of ways to get to these various types of combs. So, comb. There are a ton of combs, okay? Barren, rotten, oily, fossilized, petroleum, damp, I mean, just bunches of combs, right? Gendistry has combs, black, white. These are all colored combs, right? And the various types of combs are going to give us various different items. There should be one. I don't even know if we're showing actually all of the combs here. Let's assume for a second that we are. I don't know that we are. I have a feeling that we're not. Let me see something. Let's say I wanted to get diamonds. There should be a spot where we can, if it's been included in this pack, it may not be, but in the past you can make diamonds from bees. Yeah, right here, a diamond comb from Benny's Extra Bees, right? So if we get a diamond princess, we can produce diamond combs, right? And you can produce a lot of your resources through bees, similar to like mystical agriculture, right? And that's a big deal because once you kind of get, bees are a little difficult to start, but once you get them going, they are kind of self-sufficient from that point forward. As long as you're putting frames in there, they're going to go, and that's great. There's even bees that are going to produce energy for us, RF bees, and they get very powerful. Okay, so eventually we could run our entire base off of nothing but bee power, which would be kind of cool in my opinion. It's kind of what I would like to work towards. But there are other things that would be nice to work towards as well. So what I want to do real quick is click over here. Second, I want to make used about 15 minutes of our time so far, not bad. And apparently I've changed something with this because this one is slowly depleting. Let's look at why that's happening. That was what I wanted to check on. So my meadows are slowly depleting. Here's my... Why is that happening? According to the stack. Let's check it to export singles and see if that... I've got to pay attention because some of these are behaving very oddly. This one is as well, I think. But we'll come back and look at that in a minute. I'll get the storage system worked out and then I'll explain it to you guys later. It's just been a while since I've done this with XNet. Alright, so I know that my bees over here should be done. And then we're going to go back and we're going to do a little crafting. What we're going to work on today is not necessarily bees, but it is going to help me with bees. So you can see that now that I'm over here, I'm not getting stung anymore because the hives are not active right now. As soon as we start swapping these guys back in, hives are going to go active. They're going to start biting me again. So we want to be as quick as possible about this. Let's get out of here. And we'll leave those guys to do their bee business. And we'll check on them later and hopefully get some more stringy combs out of there. Now, seed oil and making the various frames. I've talked about that a couple times. I think I showed it last time. I'm going to go ahead and show it again real quick, though. It's a very easy process. Just get you something that's going to produce seed oil. Any one of these pecans, walnuts, cashews, any of this stuff will work. We could also go chop down a cherry tree, but like I said, I'm waiting for those to get to their fully ripened state so we get the maximum amount of cherries out of those trees. And for the time being, we'll just harvest these guys and use them. I've got plenty of these. It would be probably nice for me to increase the growth ticks out here. There are lots of ways that I could go about doing that. I'm not right now. I'm not going to worry about it. I've got enough out here that it kind of takes care of itself. But so we've grabbed a few different things, right? What all did we get? Chestnuts, walnuts, pecans. Got some cashews right here. So plenty of things to take inside the base and put to work for us. Come down here. We can just take all of these items and drop them into our squeezer, and this will give us seed oil. And like I've said, everything that I'm putting in here right now, the pecans, these give 150. The walnuts, 150. Chestnuts, 150. And cashews, 150. So these are really good sources of seed oil production. And I have made a tin tank which holds 64 buckets of liquid so that I can move much more seed oil from here to here whenever I need to. And then with the seed oil in here, as long as you put this pattern in place, you can make you can take impregnated sticks and turn them, I'm sorry, you can take oak wood and turn it into impregnated sticks with a bit of seed oil. So if I take some, it's really any kind of wood, by the way. We throw this in there, we'll start making more impregnated sticks. And of course, the impregnated sticks, as well as impregnated wood, gets used for various things. We're using it right now to make impregnated frames. So it takes 8 of these, and we can just here. Take an impregnated frame, pull one out. Go. And then once you have your impregnated frames, you can use some cocoa beans to make a chocolate frame. And there's chocolate. And there should be one more. There we go. So now I've got 3 chocolate frames that I could go put into an apiary. 1 second, guys. My throat is a bit parched. All right. So what I want to work on next is at industrial foregoing. There is an item in here called a plant interactor. This is basically a farmer, right? Now there's also a plant gatherer. When provided with power, it will harvest fully grown crops and chop down trees. This includes pumpkins, melons, and netherwort. Each operation will produce a bit of sludge. Okay, so that's the plant gatherer. There's also a plant interactor. When provided with power, it will right-click crops and fruits to harvest them and store them in its inventory or drop them to the ground. So with each of these 2 items, and they're not very different in what it takes to produce, they're actually very cheap. I was quite surprised at how cheap they were because most people I know prefer to go with the harvester, which is much more expensive. But this is from Cyclic. But this also starts off with a 15 by 15 cover area. However, for this, you're going to need to be able to make some elite components. It's not that we can't. We definitely can. We can make all of this stuff. It just seems like, for me, I'm probably going to make both just to see which one I actually end up liking better. There's probably advantages to each one. But for the time being, I'm going to go with industrial foregoing and use the... I think I'm going to start off with the plant interactor because this one seems like a good way for me to use up a bunch of the iron hose that I've gotten. And because this one says that it can harvest fruits. Well, that means that it can harvest things like walnuts, chestnuts, which means I could start to kind of look at automating my seed oil process, right? And that is very appeasing to me. Oh, look, I got a whole bunch of impregnated frames in here that we could... Pistachio saplings. Why do I not have these outside? Put this bee right here away. Let's go put this pistachio sapling outside real quick, and then we'll come back and we'll build this plants interact. Now, I could be doing something very stupid here right now. I don't know. I've kind of moved away from just blindly following quests for a bit. I want to just do some let's figure it out play for a little bit. And we'll see where this gets us. It could get us to a lot of trouble. But now that we've got bees, I will get back to the quests. We are on tier 3 quests. We are going to continue following the quest lines. But, you know, it's fun to just do some experimentation, right? And I'm pretty sure pistachios are going to give us more seed oil production anyway, so that works. Check on my bees right quick, because there's some that are being experimented on. Those are good. Right here. Hey, we did it! So the fact that we got 2 diligent drones right here means that we now have a stabilized diligent line. That's good. Okay, so we can take this and we can come down to where I'm doing my diligence, which should be the bottom. Experiment. And we can now put this with NBT. This with NBT. Nope, nope, nope. We almost just lost our line. It's generally not a good idea to start changing that while it's active. FYI. Don't do what I just did. Turn your line off before you start making changes to the filter. Okay, now that we're matching on NBT, we can let it go and we'll see what happens. We'll go ahead and turn the line back on. So now my diligence should start to auto breed up. That will be great. Don't, well, I'll have to look into why. It looks like my sorceress line is stabilized, but I don't know for sure yet. Do I have sorks being auto-filled? Let's take a look. Sork, yep. At least attempting to autofill. Not sure why it's not. If I pull these out, does it put those in? If I take these out, I push one into that. So these bees are not those bees. That's what we're seeing here. But we are producing more of these bees every time. So we'll let this run through and see if it mutates anymore. And then if not, we'll consider that the new stable line and we'll try to reset it. The system, that is. Because if all your drones are stacking up together, that means they are of the same type of drone. And that usually means you have a stable line. All right, so let's get to work real quick on this plant interactor. Glad I kept all these iron hose from killing mobs. Okay, so I want to make a plant interactor. I have that in my list. Okay, let's go ahead and add a plant gatherer as well. And why is this in my list? All right, so plant interactor right here. We need some basic control circuits, some plastic sheets. We've been making plastic sheets for a while. We've got some basic control circuits right here. This, and then we need some plastic sheets. I think we needed 4 of them, right? Wrap these bad boys in place. And was it gold gear that I saw? Yes. Gear. Gold. Here. I did go ahead and make some more connectors. Just seemed like a good idea at the time. So we've got more XNet connectors. Considering XNet's basically becoming one of our biggest points of logistics, I don't see that as being a bad investment right now. Now I think we need bronze plates times 8. Iron plates times. I think at this point we should be able to shift click this into place, right? All right, bam. Plants interactor. All right, this should be interesting. So I need a good power source for this. Maybe like a culinary generator would work, right? Yeah, let's take this culinary generator with us. And where do I want to put this guy? Let's put it up in. Let's just use it for basic farming for a minute. Let it power itself, right? And then we'll expand it from there. So if I put this up here and let it harvest our farm. Now I know that in the beginning, this thing is going to harvest like a 3x3 area. Wait, why do you not have a rice seed there? I don't. So where would be the best place to set it down to start? Or a 3x3, maybe right. Okay. Which way do we place it? Let's see. All right, it's facing the crops. Sounds good. All right, let's put the culinary down. Culinary is now powering, or is ready to power it. Culinary currently has no power though. Let's give the culinary some power. Let's harvest all of our rice here. Legit. And we should have some rice seeds in our bag. Plant one of these guys there. That's not a problem anymore. Okay, and then let's just let's go ahead and drop this guy here. All right, that's powering up. Oh, it's harvesting. Getting power. Guys making power. Harvested a bell pepper. Set up to only harvest a 1x1 from the beginning until we start putting upgrades in it? I think so. Are we gaining power? We are. Okay. So right now it's just going to fill up with power and it's only going to harvest the one that's in front of it. I'm okay with this. We need to make some upgrades for this guy. Make him truly useful for our cause, right? Obviously, once we have one of these, we can continue to expand upon this one of these. come over here and let's make an upgrade for this. At industrial. So these are our upgrade cards, okay? And what you have to take into account here is that if I go to a +1 range add-on, this takes us from a 1x1 to a 3x3, then to a 5x5, 7x7, and it should be in front of the machine. I know that those fields are a 9x9. So if we start off 3x3, 5x5, 7x7, 9x9, this is the one that I think we would want to make. We have a couple of ways we can do this. We can do it inside of our engineer's workshop, but we've got this fancy carpenter that we took so much time to make. We should use this, but we'll need a little liquid crystalline for this. So 10 glass panes, liquid crystalline. Okay, we can pull this off. 10. A couple of these ingots. You got those. Let's put some stuff in my bag. Plastic. We need. I think I needed 4 or 10, by the way. Okay, I do have a bit of boosting mixture, but I'm not going to waste any more of it yet. I stay on topic, JD. Glass panes, right here. I think we need 2 of these. And then I think the other thing we needed was a chip, right? Okay. Okay, and then I think we can come over to yield freezer. Oh, that's right. We needed some liquid crystalline. How much do I have? I have 1 bucket. It's just enough. Just enough, friends. Carpenter. Oh, it's not going to let me put it in. Out with a bucket. Oh, wait. Wait, is there something in here? Wait, is this liquid crystalline? White magic essence. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to make some liquid crystalline right quick. So if we remember, sapphires do this for us, right? And it's pretty fast. We'll just put this in the magma crucible. How many is it? 4? Yeah. Sapphire hunting later. That'll do, pig. And look, our squeezer is just full of seed oil right now. Fantastic. Alright, so we've got our liquid crystalline in here. So I think it was like this. I don't remember. At industry. I can never remember these things. We're looking for this one. Plus. There we go. Alright, what's the problem? No inventory space. We need to take these sticks out. Alright. What resource in machine? No, there's no why. What did I do wrong? Liquid crystalline. You got that. Plus. Oh, I don't have the resources in here. Duh, JD. Come on, bro. There you go. Okay, we got all of our resources inside. And now we're making our +4 range add-on. Yay! Now, while that's doing that, there is a problem with the machine that we just made. And that is that that machine does not like to do anything with the stuff that's inside of it until otherwise told to do something with these things. And one of the things that it's going to produce is a fluid called sludge, which will stop the machine altogether. So we're going to need a way to deal with this sludge. That's where this liquid trash can is going to come in, much like we did with our coke oven. And we're probably going to need some ducts. Let's take, I don't know if we need a hardened one or not, because I can't remember if sludge is hot. We'll go ahead and take one. Let's go ahead and take an item duct as well. Need some servos. One. Got too much crap in my bag. Oh, let's complete a quest right quick. I've been holding these dead bushes forever. This is part of the black magic tier to get dead bushes. Yay, I've got dead bushes. I think I can like put a sawmill or something. I don't know. For now, let's just, we'll find a use for them later. Okay, what was I doing? Servo. Okay, that takes care of that. And then, I guess lastly, we've got some chests over here, right? Hey. Right here. There's a gold chest. Let's take this with us. All right, let's head back over to our farm. And so what I'm going to end up doing now is making more of these farming machines to start really automating our farming processes. And then I will look at using something to bring all this farming goodness back to base with us. Now, it just sat there and consumed all of the energy, right? And it didn't get anything. Problem. We're going to need to think of a way to resolve that. What we're going to do for now is we're going to stick an item duct on here. And maybe we want this thing to feed itself. I don't know. We'll have to think about that. But what we do want is for anything that's in here, get extracted. Just did. It extracted that into here. So now we've got a bell pepper in there from this machine. That's step one. Good. Okay, so now let's also put this on top. I think this thing produces sludge, right? Yeah, sludge right there. Put this up here. Servo on it. Extract. Okay, no more sludge. All right, so we've dealt with our sludge problem. Now let's stick the upgrade kit in there. This guy's got a much bigger range now. That's fantastic. Do I have any food that I can put in there? I do. Throw some rice and beans at this bad boy. Let's see how this does. Rice and beans, go. Rice and beans produces a lot of power. Now look at it. Look at it harvesting. It harvested this entire line. But it wasn't quite big enough. Let's see how big of a space it harvests by the time it's done. But this is great. This field is now being automated. So it's no longer just going to sit here barren. And the more I can speed it up, the better off we are, right? So it looks like we went, what was the upgrade on this? 4? It probably would have hit this area of the field. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. So 5, 6 is probably what I actually want on this particular. How far did it go this way? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it came 9 in front of it. And it came 9 to each side of it. Not total, but the total distance from here was 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it did harvest a 9x9, but these are not 9x9 fields. I was thinking of my old fields. But that's okay. I'm okay with that. Because look at how much stuff we just got. And we absolutely did not use up all of our power to do that. So setting this thing up to run a little bit better, there's a lot of different ways we can do that. But it's basically checking right now. It's like, hey, is there anything for me to harvest? Hey, is there anything for me to harvest? Hey, is there anything for me to harvest? If there is, it'll harvest it. If there's not, it's just going to sit there and kind of burn it. Making it a bit bigger, putting a bunch of sprinklers in here to speed up the production of this field will mean less wasted power. But we could turn around and pump these same items, set the item duct to come back into here, and we could create a power loop off of the things that it's actually gathering up. Or we could set up some kind of crafting automation to turn this stuff into better things to feed into here. To give more power. Because like, for example, the rice that we put in there earlier, it's producing 16 RF a tick. Okay, well, this beans and rice, if we put that in there, that's producing 40. Almost 3 times the amount. How much do beans produce? Let's look. So if I were to just stick beans, basic beans in there, there's 8. So 16 and 8 is only 24. By taking the beans and rice and putting them in a wooden bowl together, we get up to 40. We could easily set up an auto crafter that would just sit here and feed this and turn this field into a huge beans and rice field, right? And this one culinary generator could power several different harvesters throughout this room. So that's one easy power loop that we could create where it's self-sufficient to farm all of these crops and then pipe the output back down to our base and have a constant flow of food coming in. We'll mess with it more down the road. This is just kind of the most basic, simple settings, that I could come up with to get this kind of started and show you guys. There are ways to use like a detector or to do other things to say, hey, only farm when it's time to farm, right? You can Pause this. There's a lot of different things that we can do. This right here will show you your working area based on the range upgrade you've got, which is very nice. Redstone signal, we could send that to say when this is active versus when it's not. And we could even set this up to where it's only active on a timer, right? We could go get a called timer. So we could get one of these timers and say, hey, only send a redstone signal at this point and let it check for crops. And that would help with a bit of our power consumption. Although now you're dealing with redstone interacting with ticks, which a lot of servers don't exactly like. So for now, I'm just going to pause this because I know that this stuff is not ready to be harvested again. And I'll probably optimize this a bit and then come back to it later. That's it. We've got a lot done. We talked about our bees. We talked about getting our silky propolis and what the purposes of that were. We're going to continue to push on the bees. I'm going to continue to upgrade my ability to farm crops automated so that I can get the stuff that I need for bees even easier, as well as stuff that I need for other things. For example, now that I can do automated farming, I can automate mystical agriculture harvesting, which is a hope you guys are enjoying the series so far. As always, if you liked it, like it. If you'd like to see more like it, click the subscribe button. Bell icon for notifications. And remember, I do live stream all this content on Twitch TV/JDon77. Come by, hang out, say what's up. I look forward to seeing you. See you next time.